She's still laughing.
That's so funny. Welcome to 5 Lemons Left. We're the real stuff, the lemons making lemonade. So pucker up because we're going to be discussing our life's lessons and the nitty-gritty details of our spiritual journeys.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Drusilla.
I'm Melissa.
Hello, this is Morgan.
And I'm Penny. Welcome to our podcast today.
Hello,
Oh,
all
gosh.
you beautiful people. Drusilla's not with us today, so we're sending her and her family lots and lots of love, love, love.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're talking about not taking stuff personally. Yeah. Woo. Let go of that burden. Wouldn't that change life if we all learned not to take that personally?
Yeah, Amanda, you're so right about that. One of my very, very favorite books in the whole wide world is Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. And he even says in this book that just doing, well, the first one is be impeccable with your word, but just doing that one simple thing can change your whole life. And then adding on top of that, don't take anything personally. It's like it's a game changer. It totally is. And so I just absolutely, this is really a practical guide to personal freedom. Like it says, my copy's a little like used. I've used it so much. When I very first started my coaching training like 15 years ago, this was one of our required readings. And it was really hard for me to read because I wasn't quite as evolved as I am now.
Aware, right? Aware.
Oh, yeah. Aware. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, but as I really started digging into this and really practicing, not gossiping, and when somebody said something that would like give me a little ego bump, because that's what taking things personally is, right? It bumps my ego and I get a little bruised, and then I start defending myself and thinking that I have to convince them of something. And really just digging into this work and around not taking anything personally has really been very helpful to me. I just got the results last night on an exam I was taking, or I took, and I didn't pass.
Oh,
and that was a big ego bump for me. I get a chance to take it over again. So, and they want me to succeed. They just also really want me to make sure that I get the principles of the information that I am studying, fully embodied, so that when I take it out to the world, that I am really fully embodied. Anyway, I took it so personally, but I guess that's hard. I mean, like, where do you draw the line? Like, what do you think, Morgan, Melissa, Amanda, where do you draw the line when not to take like, I personally took the test. I personally didn't pass it. So do you not take that personally or what? I'm curious what you guys think.
I think it's where you go with the information. What do you think, Amanda? Like, where you go with your head, and then you start searching for like, see, I am a failure. See, over here, I do this wrong. See, over here, I do this wrong. What do you think, Amanda?
I do. I like the way that you said that, Morgan. You said it, not Morgan. You're gonna be next, Melissa. I like the way
you it personally, Morgan.
Yeah, I like the way that you said that, Melissa, because
good job.
it's the thinking after it, right? Like, yes, I took a test and I failed it. And letting go of all the guilt and the shame, making yourself wrong, like, and really going into attacking yourself. I think that's where the healing is. So well said. Melissa.
which I did, by the way.
Yeah, tell
but
us
I
about
only,
that. Mhm.
yeah. Oh my gosh. So of course I had to cry and feel sorry for myself. And I was not very impeccable with my word because I started, being very critical of myself. Like, gosh, Penny, are you that stupid? Like you're not smart enough? Like you can't get this stuff? What's wrong with you? So I did really start beating myself up. But here's the really beautiful part. With all the work that we've all been doing together over the last few years and prior to even coming together, I didn't stay there very long. I was
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I would say it was probably 15 or 20 minutes. And before it would have been days, maybe months, maybe even years that I would have been beating myself up that I missed an opportunity and and I might have just walked away and said, well, fuck it. I'm not doing this exam. I can't do it right the first time. So I'm done.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I sent my mentors an email and I told them my process. And I said, but I'm going to make empowered meaning of this. Like, this is an opportunity for me to learn, harvest the learning, and then go again, right? We create a plan, we go out and we execute it. Maybe things don't always turn out so well. And then we get to come back in, take a look, and then create a new plan and go again. It's not like it's over, right? And
Right.
so anyway, I'll stop talking. But yeah, I took it personally, but I was able to get myself into an empowered place fairly quickly. But I'm
Yeah.
still, I
Awesome.
have to be honest, it's still a little sad. And I'm still beating myself up a little bit, but it's better than it's ever been. I mean, less than it's ever been, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're having that awareness and you're just, yeah. Well, and as I was contemplating this topic of not taking things personally, the Course in Miracles, I have given everything all the meaning that it has for me. That quote kept coming into my mind, and it seems especially relevant to this situation. It's all about the
Mhm.
meaning that we assign to it.
Yeah.
So, what's the meaning that you made of it, Penny?
Oh, the meaning I made is that I'm not smart enough, that I don't get stuff the first time or the second time or the third time. I might as well just give up and go back to bed and watch a movie.
And
Like,
what's the truth?
it's really interesting that you asked that. The truth is that I am an intelligent woman and I am capable of doing the work that's necessary for me to be able to embody the principles of the program and to then take it out to the world. I am. Yeah. And it's just so interesting to see how quickly I can just, forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Penny, I am here to affirm that you are all those things, that you are capable and loving and smart, intelligent. Yes.
I got your number, Amanda. I'll be calling you.
I am affirming that for you right now.
Yeah, I double it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Anybody else have a story of taking stuff personally?
Well, when we were kind of getting ready and you said, let's think about some stories. I was like, the story of my life.
And I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, you are. No. Seriously, I feel like that is how I've lived my life. How I was raised, I was really responsible for things really early. With my sister, we became very responsible very early. And so I think some of that responsibility just, is just so heavy that and I really had no choice but to take things personally because we were in charge. So it's just really how I was raised. And I did also live in kind of a critical home. And so we did get a lot of feedback when we didn't do things right or a certain way. So I had that. And then what did I do? I started a company with my husband. And so anytime he says, I'm so much better than I was 5 years ago, but anytime he would bring something up about our, we need to do this way, or why don't we think about doing our systems this way? I would really go into like, well, I did that, and isn't that good enough? And just punishing myself. And he didn't even mean that. He didn't even mean that what I chose to do or how I did it was wrong. He was bringing up a suggestion. And I just became, it's just so defensive. And I don't even know how he stayed in there with me, because I was not nice, but it was my reaction and my defense of feeling like a failure because I took it personally. And then I just want to say, I think for me, it kind of goes back to, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, like in psychological books or talking or whatever, how we go find evidence. We feel unworthy or we feel a certain way. And then we live life kind of going to find evidence to prove to ourselves, we are unworthy. See, he wants it to be different the way I did it. And he wants it to be different. So, I'm there's something wrong about me. And I've come a long way from that, but it still happens a lot. It's still, it's just part of the healing the unworthiness journey, I think, for me. And, I don't want to keep looking for reasons why I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
That's so cool, Melissa, that you and your husband are in business together, because my husband and I have been in business together for 31 years this year. We own and operate our own company too. And yeah, I can totally relate to what you were saying. He would say, like my part of the business that I'm overseeing would not be going the way.
Yes.
And he would, tell me. And of course I would have to start defending that I was doing everything that needed to be done, right? And and to create that conflict, I guess maybe that's what I was doing. I wanted to create conflict. It's less now, but it still happens, honestly. Yeah.
So Melissa, let me ask you a question then. If your husband gives you feedback about the business, how would it look not to take it personally? How would that even look? Like, I don't know. It's because I know, right? It's something that we've all like learned to do. Like, just open it. Like, how would that look? How would that feel? Like, how would that be different?
Okay, so what's the Course in Miracles? I am defenseless.
In my defenselessness, my safety lies. My favorite lesson, 153, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
That became very profound to me a handful of years ago. And I really stopped engaging in fights with my husband, and just letting both of us be right, and just not having to prove that I'm right and he's wrong, or well, because that's how it usually went. But like but like it's such a good lesson. I remember thinking and talking to other people about the fact, especially in marriage, if I don't tell him he's wrong, it doesn't mean that he's walking all over me.
Right.
Like, I don't have to fight for my position. It was a real lifesaver, because I could just let him have his opinion without trying to prove him wrong. And that didn't mean that I thought he was right. I just didn't have to fight him to prove that I was right and he was wrong. I hope that makes sense. It's such a good lesson.
It totally makes sense. And so what does that sound like? You're in a conversation and he's saying his opinion and you've got a different one. And you don't have to make him,
Wrong.
yeah, how do you do that? Like, what do you
You
do?
just like he'll say something, I'm like, oh, I mean, I try not to be.
And then what?
Yeah,
But,
I
uh-oh, you're out of the closet now, Melissa.
I try not to be, holier than thou or sarcastic. I really like, oh, like that's a good perspective. That's a great perspective. I used to think that if I didn't fight him, it meant that he had some kind of control over me, and that whatever he said was right and I was wrong. And that's not how it is. I mean, we actually have been together for over 30 years, like 32 years. And we've learned a lot. And before, I used to think if he told me something and I didn't fight him about it, then it just meant he was right. He was walking all over me.
Oh, that's interesting meaning that you made of that.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think it's the whole worthiness thing. And yeah.
Here's one of the cards from the 4 agreements. So see other people as they are. When you see other people as they are without taking it personally, you can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it's okay. They're lying to you because they are afraid you will discover that they are not perfect. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to the, we're either in love or we're in fear.
Yeah.
And so when we take things personally, we're in fear. Spoiler alert, it's fear.
Well, and for me, when I take things personally, well, actually, I'm not going to qualify it for me. I think this is true for everybody. I think that he even says this in the 4 agreements. When we take things personally, it's because somebody has touched a tender spot, and it's a belief that we hold about ourselves, or it wouldn't hurt us. So we would just laugh it off,
Yep.
Yeah.
So you think that's the basis of taking it personally, is that it's actually something we think is true about ourselves.
Well, here's another. I have a little spot in the book that I highlighted. I'll read it because I think it sums it up. I love this book, ladies.
I know. I love it too.
Yeah.
I love seeing all your post-its and underlines.
On page 56 in the hardcover version, when you take things personally, then you feel offended. And your reaction is to defend your beliefs and create conflicts. You make something big out of something so little because you have the need to be right and make everybody else wrong. You also try hard to be right by giving them your own opinions. In the same way, whatever you feel and do is just a projection of your own personal dream, a reflection of your own agreements. What you say, what you do, and the opinions you have are according to the agreements you have made. And these opinions have nothing to do with me. Deep.
It is deep. It is deep. It makes me think when I worked at a couple of years ago, I worked at a brewery, Beer Creek Brewery here in New Mexico. And it was a lot easier for me to make a lot of money because I didn't take things personally. I just didn't. If people had, and not that many people complained, but people are people. Like, I just didn't take it personally. And I also didn't feel the need to defend, right? If someone said my pizza was burnt, which it's real life, right? Pizzas get burnt. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and like, that's it. Like, and just let it go right there, and not get into, the attack, the defend, like, and just not get into that, not engage in the defending behavior, just, leaving it lie. And a lot of my coworkers, several of my coworkers just mentioned that, and I was like, you don't have to respond, it's a whole different way of living in the world. And I noticed that I made a lot of money because the energy behind it was, I just didn't engage, and I didn't feel like engaging. I didn't feel the need to engage. So it was a genuine, like, okay, let's just fix it and move on, like, and not even dig in there. So that's how this not taking things personally has, an example from my life, a little bit different direction than what we were going in.
No,
That's
that's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. And Amanda, just when you were saying that too, it's just like you could translate that to all areas of your life. Your abundance in, everything can
Yeah.
just come from keeping it simple and having abundance everywhere. Just going with the
Oh,
flow.
I love it. Restaurant workers, it's spiritual speed dating. Like if you're on a spiritual path and you're working in a restaurant, I mean, come on, you get it. Talk about putting your foot on the accelerator for enlightenment. If that's the path that you're on, right? It really is. And I guess it does, for me, it did manifest in prosperity, abundance, because that was my intention. That was my intention. Being there was not just to serve food, it was to be the example of living love, right? To be that example, to be joy, to allow that to translate into the world. Yeah.
I love it.
Mm.
What's up with you, Morgan? What do you have to say about this deep, juicy topic?
I love the example you gave, Amanda. I love it because it is simple. It is something that like people can understand and like, yeah, I mean, how many times have we blown things way out of proportion when it could be just a simple like, yes, your pizza is burnt. Let's take care of that. Yeah, I love things that are like simple and easy to understand. So I appreciate that example.
Yes, I did give your pizza to somebody else. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
funny. Yeah, and I just it goes back to just the healing practice of, and this ties back to what you were sharing too, Melissa, letting go of the need to be right, letting go of the need to be understood sometimes. That those are kind of two consistent themes in my life that, I get to keep practicing and keep practicing. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot to add at this time.
Oh, Morgan, you really opened up a whole nother line of conversation. Like, I need to be understood. I want you to understand me. Oh, letting that go. Wow. That's a whole. Do you have an example of needing to be understood and letting it go? Could you think of anything that pops into your mind?
I mean, I feel like with my husband, a lot of times our like arguments are around me trying to get him to understand my point of view versus just taking the pizza approach, like, yeah, and just like, and I've had a lot of forgiveness work around, friendships and managing like how other people see me and needing to feel validated or feel right, like feeling needing to feel understood by other people. I don't know. It's I don't know how to really go into it without going into like a big long thing, but yeah, it shows up in my life in a lot of places.
Mhm. And have you started like in your life, like not doing it?
Yes, yes. But it's like kind of like Penny when you had your immediate response to getting the test results back and you had your cry and you had your little pity party, but then you just dug yourself out of it a little bit faster or a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the urge or the like tendency to go into I need to make this person understand where I'm coming from. I need to make sure that they're perceiving me the way that I'm intending to put myself out there. I need to like the urge to manage those things shows its head often, but I do also notice that I'm catching it and choosing a different approach more quickly. So yes, that's the long answer to your
Yeah.
short answer to
Yes.
your question.
It circles back to our conversation about people pleasing, right? It really,
Yes.
that's what that
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, I have one more card to share with you,
Okay.
and
Do
it
it.
is transform your life. When
Mhm.
you refuse to take things personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Your feelings of anger, jealousy, and even your sadness will simply disappear if you don't take things personally. So transform your life. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. Amazing.
Any final thoughts on not taking things personally before we close?
Yeah, I'm just reading another line in here that I highlighted. When we really see other people as they are without taking it personally, we can never be hurt by what they have to say or do. And so that's really like for me, that really sums it up. And when I can stay in my loving heart and not get into my wounded child and stay and just take the information in with curiosity
Mhm.
versus defensiveness, I mean,
Mhm.
my life just goes so much better. So that's kind of how I want to sum it up. Stay
Yeah.
in curiosity.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay in curiosity. I would like to stay in curiosity.
Yay. Yeah. And courage. I want to stay in courage.
Love
Yeah.
it.
The courage to actually not take things personally because it is a step. That is a step.
Mhm. Mhm.
Morgan, Melissa, any declarations?
I just go back to Course Miracles
Mhm.
with your defenselessness is where your safety lies. And learn that we've all learned from the Course in Miracles about making meaning of things. So if someone you feel is not understanding you, what meaning are you making of that? They must not love you, that someone else I'm sure will understand me more. What all those thoughts that come up, to stop all those meanings. And the one thing I love is Penny was talking about it. Acceptance is my answer to everything today.
Mhm.
Oh, I love
Just,
that.
yeah, just
What's
accept
that from?
12 steps.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a story in the big book. Acceptance is the key. I think I have the page too. I can't remember though, but yeah.
Yeah. And I guess for me, it's like one thing it says in A Course in Miracles that's like one of the most powerful things we can do is to demonstrate to our brothers and sisters that they can't harm us. And yeah, so just like staying in that place of defenselessness, like, where they can fire the arrows at you, but they just bounce off of you. You know what I mean? Like, on some level, they're understanding, they're getting clearer and understanding that, we're not a body and we are these eternal beings that, so it's a, like, I don't, my words are failing me today, but like, so that's my declaration, is to demonstrate to, everyone that I encounter that they can't hurt me, no matter, even if they're hurting and they may be like in the world of form appearing to try to hurt me, that it's impossible to hurt me.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yep.
True. And I just want to say too that I so appreciate all of you, Amanda, Melissa, Morgan, and Drusilla, for being on this journey with me, because it's such a safe place to come together and to share authentically what's going on. And like, I haven't told many people yet. I mean, it just happened last night that I failed this exam, but I felt really safe coming and telling you all about it, and knew that you wouldn't judge me or think I was less than, or, oh my God, you got to kick me out of the podcast because I'm a failure, all of that. And none of that happened. And so I would just want that for the world, to have a safe place to come to where you can share from your heart and know that you're loved and supported no matter what's going on, because nobody's taking whatever you do personally, and they are loving you anyway. Well, no matter what's going on. So I just wanted to say that.
What a beautiful place to end on. Yeah. All right, Morgan, any announcements before we end?
It might help if I unmute. Yeah, thank you for being here today. Please check out our website, 5lemonslaughing.com. 5 is spelled out, FIVE. Please find us on Instagram and Facebook. Our handle on both of those is at 5lemonslaughing. And yeah, we can be found on all of your podcast platforms. So give us a listen and share with your friends. Thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Love you.